Doing
Okay,
just
good.
fine, Bernie, and I'm happy to have you back with us this week. And we're doing things a little different, but it's nice. We've done so many of these conversations on the phone, and I'm so used to seeing you in our studios. Now we've got a chance to bring you back to life on this Zoom chat. So that's great.
Well, that's great too. It's been a weird year, but like I said, we're still in it, and thanks for having me back. I appreciate that. It's good to see you. As you mentioned, we hadn't seen each other all year.
That's true. And you're home. I'm home in my Lubingo studio, so I'm very comfortable right now. And this is where we've been doing. I've been doing the show for just about the last 7-8 months, and I could see that you've been probably doing more work from home over the last 6-7 months than you have the last who knows how many years.
Oh, 20 years, absolutely. I'm still waking up this week. I'm waking up about 4 o'clock in the morning, getting ready to go to some event that we normally have during this week, but there's nothing here. I sent a text to my staff on Saturday saying, don't forget the first team arrives at 2 and the next one arrives at 4. I said, oh, sorry, wrong year. They're not coming in this year.
Well, I'll tell you what, though. You made I'm going to say this right now. The decision you made, it looks like a genius move, because look at all these bowl games that are being canceled last minute. The Texas Bowl, so many others where they put more time, more effort, more money into it. And now, just days before some of these games are supposed to be played, Bernie, we're finding out that they're getting canceled.
I think the Texas Bowl was supposed to be played tomorrow, and TCU came up with some COVID problems, so they had to cancel that game. And I really feel bad for some of my colleagues out there. And I know some of them had spent a lot of money on the bowl and preparing for the bowl, and now I don't know what's going to happen to that. And food and stadiums and all that. So I feel real bad for them. We didn't. Our reason for catching the game was the situation in El Paso, not necessarily the situation with the teams that were coming in. When we canceled the game, El Paso was one of the worst in the country, and we just didn't feel it was right to bring in people to our city during that time. And as it turns out, we made the right decision at the right time. And like I said, I'm happy for us, and happy for our city, and happy for all our people, but feel really bad for those other bowls who have lost their games. Like I said, it takes a lot of preparation. We've been preparing all year long, and even up until the day before we canceled the game, I was in deep discussions with some medical people on how we were going to test all the players and everybody who was coming to the stadium. And as it turns out, I think we made the right decision. Again, a lot of thanks goes out, to John Fulmer and I, who sat there together. John Fulmer, we started talking pretty much daily the week before we canceled, and we were just keeping an eye on everything that's going on. And I think the decision was finally made, and our board unanimously, voted to cancel the game. And it's turned out to be the right decision.
What's it been like for you watching all these games over the last couple of weeks? Because you never get a chance to do this. You're always so much preparing for your own game and all the festivities surrounding it. Is that also kind of surreal that you're actually getting a chance now to see some of these bowl games that you never would otherwise?
You're absolutely right. And, sometimes you forget what you're going through. And when you look at the schedule, it's like, oh, you know what? I'm going to go down to the Alamo Bowl. I'm going to get to I can go see the Alamo Bowl because we're not having a game, or I can go to this game but then you realize, no, we're still in the middle of a COVID crisis. I can't go. We're staying home. But you're right. I'm getting my fill of football. That's for sure. College football and college bowl games that I don't normally see. Normally, I see the highlights at 10 o'clock on SportsCenter. The days of the game, because we're doing a lot of events. But I was watching that Oklahoma State Miami game just before I came on the air. And again, Miami is one of our partners, and so it was kind of fun watching and seeing that, something that we don't get to do very often. It's like you said, it's surreal. It's different. I wish I was getting ready to go have an event down at Fort Bliss or at Cattleman's or something, but unfortunately we're not doing it. But we're going to come back strong and stronger than ever next year, and put on a great game for the city of El Paso and for the nation.
And the truth is, Bernie, that's one of the few bowl games involving an ACC team that's not Clemson or Notre Dame right now. Most of those teams opted out. very few left. I think Wake Forest is also playing in a bowl game, but for the most part, there aren't a lot of teams right now from the conferences that we're so used to here in El Paso that are actually playing postseason bowl games.
There's only two teams from the Pac-12 that are playing bowl games, and those, that's Oregon and Colorado. I mean, even USC dropped out after they lost the Pac-12 championship.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of put another one of our bowls in jeopardy, because the Independence Bowl was supposed to get that 13 this year, and they already had Army scheduled there for almost a month, and all of a sudden they're without a team, so they have to scramble to find Army a bowl game. So like I said, it's tough on all the bowl games that have been canceled, and like I said, it hurts every time I hear another one being canceled. But again, it's it is what it is, and we have to move on. And I hope the ones that are being played are successful. There's been a lot of good games, a lot of fun games, and again, it's something that I don't get to see very often.
Give me your thoughts on the Rose Bowl and the Sugar Bowl coming up with Notre Dame, Alabama, and then followed by Ohio State and Clemson. And first off, did they get it right with these teams and the way the matchups are? And then how do you think it's going to end up going?
I don't think there's any doubt they got it right. I know that A&M does have an argument to be there, but Notre Dame lost one game to the number 2 team in the country, and then they lost the championship game to they lost championship. Well, they lost championship to number to a great team. I think they're very deserving. Of course, Texas A&M is deserving too, and I don't think there's any problem with Clemson. Now, Ohio State, this is a tough year for everybody, but in my opinion, and like I said, everybody has opinions. I think you have to choose them on what happens on the field. Now, a lot of Ohio State's problems weren't their fault, but they did only play 6 games. While A&M, played a full schedule. Now, Ohio State's a great football team. It's a great football team, but they didn't show it on the field. I mean, they weren't picked over what happened on the field. A lot of it was because other teams had COVID problems and they couldn't play. But they still didn't get to play, and of course, it's no fault of their own. But when you only play 6 games, you're a lot fresher for all those games. Your injuries are probably less. So you probably have your full team. So having said that, though, they are a very good football team. Like I said, they could win it. I think any of those 4 teams could win the national championship. So I don't have a problem with any of those teams. But playing 6 games versus 10 games, I think if I was there this year, I would have probably taken that into consideration.
I think a lot of people believe that it's just going to be Alabama and Clemson, just pencil them in. But let's give Notre Dame and Ohio State more than just the benefit of the doubt. Give them a chance. And hey, there's been a lot of upsets all year long in college football. And why can't it happen again here in the semifinals, especially after watching what Florida did to Alabama and taking them down to the wire in the SEC title game?
Yeah, I see a different, Alabama just ran all over them in that first half, and I think they just started celebrating before the game was over, and they let their guard down, and Florida came back strong. I think if it would have been a tighter game at halftime, I think Alabama would have come out strong in the second half and did what they did. That's my opinion, not just for me sitting, up in the stand somewhere, but Florida was a very good football team as well. I mean, they're all pretty good. But I think Alabama is the best team in the country by a long shot. But you're right. There's been a lot of upsets. Notre Dame has a good chance. It's hard to play it's hard for a good team to play 2 bad games in a row, and they did not play well against Clemson. So I think they're going to come back and they're going to be ready. And that's what makes it a little bit fun. But I still think Alabama is the best team in the country. A turnover here, a turnover there changes the complexion of a game, and that could be the difference. If there's a turnover here, turnover there, a fumble, an interference call down the stretch, and Notre Dame can be right in it. They do have the horses to play. They got a great quarterback. They got great receivers. They got it all. I think Alabama has a few more horses on their team, but like I said, an injury here, a turnover here, you never know.
Bernie, will those games be played with fans? Will we see people in the Rose Bowl and also, in the Superdome at the Sugar Bowl?
Yes, there will be. I think there's going to be 3,000 people available in New Orleans.
Okay.
there, and I think it's like 16,000 at
AT&T.
Arlington at AT&T Stadium, which is one of the reasons they moved it from the Rose Bowl, to Arlington to allow, because California is at a zero, allowed zero fans. I heard the number 16,000, but it's around there. But I heard only 3,000 is going to be allowed in the other semifinals. So at least the parents, the kids' parents will be probably allowed to watch them, and not too many more people after that.
Do we know how many yet will be allowed in Miami at Hard Rock Stadium on the 11th of January for the championship game?
I think I read it somewhere. I think it's someplace around 17,000. I was kind of surprised that I actually got an invitation. Normally, executive directors get an invite to go to the national championship game, and I was surprised that I did get an invitation, but it was only for one ticket. Normally they allow all the bowls to purchase 4 tickets. This year they were going to allow 1 ticket, for the executive directors to go. But I'm going to stay home and try to stay safe and watch it on TV this year.
I think that's a wise move, no doubt about it.
Yeah, it didn't take long to decide that one. As much as I love going to those games, but again, normally they allow us to buy 4 tickets. This year they were going to allow us to buy 1.
Well, listen, I wish you a happy new year. I'm sure you, like everybody, very excited about 2021. Can't wait to get 2020 over with, and look forward to a much, much better 2021 for everyone.
Absolutely. And happy new year to everybody. And let's put this one behind us. And hey, let's keep going forward.
Awesome stuff. Bernie, appreciate the time as always. Listen, we'll look forward to talking to you again back here next week. We'll get a little analysis following the semifinals, getting ready for the championship game, and always appreciate you stopping by and joining us. And I enjoyed the Zoom chat. I think it's nice getting a chance to actually see each other when we're talking.
Yeah, absolutely. It's pretty cool. It's pretty nice.